Hey there guys, it's your good pal Wiggly, and welcome back to more Let's Play Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations Blind. In the last episode, we finished up the first investigation period where Larry was Larry, and in this episode, we're going to be continuing on to the first trial, and we heard something about this trial in the last episode, and that's that Godot decided not to take this case anymore now that Phoenix is kind of out of the picture, it seems. So Edgeworth said that he pulled some strings to get another prosecutor for this case, and I'm really hoping that it's somebody who can whip this court into shape, as it were. So let's go ahead and get started with Part 2-1, Trial. Here we go. Oh my, Mr. Larice feels that way about me? Apparently. He isn't aware of your real secret at all. Are you into it? Oh. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not. And in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Larice is the witness today? No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. That's right, Bikini. Sister Bikini. She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise O'Neill, correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed... Don't worry. I've made the necessary arrangements. I see. Iris. It is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I'm a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. That's so sweet. Mr. Edgeworth. I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted. This is a problem. I really hope there isn't some, twist that Iris is actually Dahlia or something like that, because the game is trying really hard to make me feel for her, and it's kinda working, man. I don't know. Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands. Okay. Here we go. February 9th, 10 o'clock a.m., District Court, courtroom number 7. Oh, yeah, it's Canadian, Judge. I forgot. Fuck. Okay. What kind of a voice did I give this guy? It wasn't, crazy. It was Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. This is fucking weird. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of his court's time. There it is. We've already begun. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. Oh, really? Look, man, I thought regular Judge was bad and annoying sometimes, even though I like him, but this guy... I am ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant... Oh, yeah, baby! Let's go! Yeah! She's here! That's so great! I did not expect to see you in this game! I thought for sure that you would be absent for at least a full game. Just back in Germany, doing your own thing. I'm so happy to see you here. This game is so fan servicey in all the right ways. God, I'm so excited I can't even talk. The prosecution stands ready. This is so great. I can't wait to see these two interact in the courtroom. That's so exciting. And you are? Franziska von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? Perchance, you wouldn't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma. That is all. Hell yeah. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? I am almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before, or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Well, at the very least, Canadian judges' memory seems to be better than regular judges because, you know, regular judge was fooled by Fudio Tigre, which I bet Canadian judge probably would be too, but he'd probably question it more, I would imagine. Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say? There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. Damn. There isn't? But I'm sure, once before in this courtroom... Ah! I told you, there is no such weakling. What is that? A whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Oh my god, he's questioning it. Wait a minute. Canadian judges earned some points. Hold on. But bailiff, remove that whip and... I have no objection to the whip. You don't? The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. But there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. Yeah, I mean, they can hold those things, but attacking other people with them in the courtroom is probably not a good thing. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I've been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. This is so cool. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. Wah! The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. This dude's gonna be fucking just manhandled by these two. Holy crap. Very well, Miss Von Karma, please give an outline of this case. With as little whipping as possible. No. The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Stoneem. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo of the crime scene. Okay. Let me get a closer look at that. Let's take a peek real quick. Also, let's review our evidence. We have the staff, which is missing the orb. We have a picture of Elise with different hair and eyes that I'm not super sure is important, but usually they catch things like that. And also it has the orb in this picture. The Shichishido suspect's fingerprints are on it. A scroll of Misty Fae, which I'm not sure what we're going to need to use that for in court. Iris's hood, which is the most bizarrely confusing thing in the whole court record here. The note to Iris that says, meet me at this place at this time. The map, which is pretty self-explanatory. The weather data, a whole lot of numbers I'm going to have to remember here. Whenever we're talking about lightning, I'm going to have to review that for myself. This one here, which, again, I don't have really any idea what I can use that in the courtroom for. A testimony, I forgot about this, rang lights out bell at 10 o'clock p.m. and then was in her room. Okay. The autopsy report, 10 to 11 p.m., cause lack of blood from stab in the back, body fell 10 feet after death. Okay. And then the crime photo, take a close look at this. Why is the statue still holding it? Wait, that's weird. Wait, that's really weird. Why is the statue holding the sword? If she fell, how the hell does that work? Unless... That's also not how we found the area, either. That's super odd. Okay, I'm gonna have to remember that. Alright. There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. Don't say that. Give me some more. Wait, she's that short? I didn't... Oh, wait a minute. Is that what that... Oh, that's what the picture's all about. I didn't realize she was so short. I couldn't tell when I was just talking to her. Like, I thought she was short, but not, like, shorter than Cody Hawkins. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. By the way, I'm surprised I remember his name after all this time. Oh, hold on here. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain plagued witness. Ah. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. They referenced Cody Hawkins as well. Very loosely, but still they did. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little old me. Well, I'm the head of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. I don't remember what voice I gave her, so I'm just kind of winging it. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. I will say this judge's surprised face is very fun. Ah, oh god. Am I starting to like Canadian judge? This is bad. What the fuck? But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Rah! The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave the sanctuary at once. We have not followed that rule. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you have to say then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? I can't do there's a good example of why I'm not doing a Canadian accent for this. Fucking a boot. You've got to be kidding me. I know there's at least like 2 Canadians who watch this, so I apologize for that. That night I was helping an acolyte with her training, but in the inner temple, but... Well, as you can see, my back likes to act up, violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back. That's when I saw it. That was a voice crack for the ages. Also, surprise, surprise, I saw nothing contradictory there. Uh-oh. So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple. Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There's only one problem with the testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle now, are you, Miles Edgeworth? I love that she is not so blindly confident. She learned her lesson. That's so good. Show me how she's developed, please. Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Alrighty, the night of the murder. That night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but... Let's just start pressing, I guess. What is this inner temple? Well, see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right? We'll be the ones asking you the questions, madam. In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is required. There's a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training. And how exactly do you help with this process? It is all quite exacting. It can't be performed without a nun supervising. Like a tutor, watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. A tutor with a whip, in your case. If that is the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple, where the murder took place? Alright. Well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. Again, I don't see anything weird here, but... violently. That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training. On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again? That's right. Raging like a bull in a pig pen. I almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, it was going to finally finish me off. Damn. That's horrible. So I left Iris to help the Acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. You left Iris to help? With what? What do you think? The Acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 o'clock p.m., so we were starting to enter into the training exercises proper. Wasn't it your place to remain with a disciple? Well, the job is simply to watch over the Acolyte so that they don't pass away. Jesus. Just to confirm this point again, that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct? Yes, she's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions. Okay. It's weird that you left, but your explanation seems sort of reasonable, I suppose. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. So you returned to the Hazakura Temple in order to take a bath. My back is to blame for everything. It's a do-or-be-done-in kind of world, after all. How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking? I'm stammering a lot. My, what a filthy little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind. Jesus. I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? Yuck. No. Ah, this is why you have to watch the young ones. What are you going on about? I was... Pathetic, Miles Edgeworth. The lowest of the low. Is there some sort of kick-me sign stuck to the defense's bench? It seems like it, man. Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand, so... What? That was a really important question, but alright. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it. Saw what? The crime took place in the courtyard, correct? When you go from my room to the main hall, you have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard. That's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case. That certainly seems to be true. There is indeed only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what it is, then I can begin to quantify just how good this witness's memory and observation skills are. Okay. I'm not seeing anything. Backslash to act up violently, so I left Iris to help the Acolyte return to the Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple. Did I press on this? You left Iris to help with what? What do you think? The Acolyte's training, of course. It just yeah, I did. Okay. Yep, okay. Well... Huh. Alright. I'm really stuck on the first cross-examination. That night I was helping an Acolyte with her training in the inner temple. But, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. Nothing there. I left Iris to help the Acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. After I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it. Really? Huh. Oh, hold on. Okay. I guess it technically conflicts with this. This is kind of a stretch, but I mean, it conflicts with Iris's testimony. I left Iris to help the Acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple. Okay. Yeah, because you're saying that you left her at the temple, but she went back to her room. She wasn't at the temple, so... Yeah, okay. I wasn't even thinking about that because it's like... it's another character's testimony. It's not like hard evidence. So I was a little bit iffy on that. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well, don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No! She said that? You didn't ask her? A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back. But that is completely illogical, and that's also hella speculation. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. That's true. That's true. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. I like that nod, actually. I just got that. I got it just barely too late. All people lie. That is my belief. I mean, yeah, to some degree. Why am I the only one being whipped in here? I think she whipped Miles Edgeworth like a couple minutes ago. I also don't know why I use his full name. My brain is weird today. Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means we must call your memory into question. Dear. You're older than me, and yet you want to play that game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what I... My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter. You trade your back for memory. Then I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. I mean, I didn't think it would do the trick, which is why I didn't think of it until I had to sit here and ponder the evidence for a while. Then please add your comments about Iris to the testimony. And let us return to the cross-examination. That night I was helping Acolyte with the training. My back likes to act up. Iris came to the inner temple. She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner. That's not true. That's why we have the hood. That's what this is for. Okay. So we're just using this to... to just call our memory into question, I guess. Cool. Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant who you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute. Why did she give it to Phoenix? That's really weird. Now that I think about it more. That's really strange.
Objection!
Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the Iris she saw should have been missing this very hood.
Well.
She's so short. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Yeah, you like it? You like being on the positive end of it for once in a blue moon? Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. That shit-eating grin. Order in the court! What? I couldn't read the rest of that. Sister, this hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see. A stockpile, a surplus of hoods, eh? Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. Then this is quite strange. Wah! If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. I love how poetic he is. Seeing Edgeworth's inner monologue is so good. Witness, while I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. He's so analytical about it. He's so much more, like, precise and calculated than Phoenix. It's so cool. I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was, Mystic Elise! And with that sword, of all things. Well, it's weird that it was... If this is exactly what you saw, and not just, like, a visual representation of your vague memory of it, or something, then it's super weird that the... where's the crime photo? That it's stuck in the hand, because she's, like, so much further away, but this isn't evidence here, so I can't disprove that, I guess. Mystic Elise was staying in her corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. Wow, brain. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. No, it did not. I see the contradiction in this one, plain as day. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that. Do you want that to happen? This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? Okay. I'm gonna take a shot on this one. I'm pretty confident I know what the contradiction here is. All right. Which faces out in the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. That's not true, because she fell after being stabbed. You have it backwards. Yeah, let's go. I pay attention. Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say, anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right. It says after death right here. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim go on to take a 10-foot fall? Oh, order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room, don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room, and she was then thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Doneen's room? No, right? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? There was like a little incline in the courtyard right above the statue, if I remember correctly, so... But I don't remember if that's 10 feet. And also, from the last episode, my bridge theory, where she fell off the bridge, that's like... somebody mentioned in the comments that they said it was 40 feet, which is obviously not 10, so I don't think that's correct either, but, you know, I was trying. Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. We're saying that again? What the fuck is a playoff beard? However, I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure Your Honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood? Yeah, when it's taken out. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed, which goes along with my theory that she saw Iris pulling the sword out, which is more than possible, but that would also mean Iris is lying about being in her room. Right? Well, no, that would mean that she's closer to the courtyard, actually. Wait. Huh. I have to ponder on that. Indeed. With the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. Okay, but why is it stuck in the statue? We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. Order. I must admit this is a probable version of events. I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. But also, she said that there were no signs of a struggle at all. We just said that there was... We just explained why there was no blood. Why didn't we explain that there was, like, no, torn carpet or, like, marks or anything wild? It's literally just nothing in her room as far as we know. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition from your part and tell us only the facts, please. Why'd you get down? Witness, please, remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now, Lamau. The weight of winter's snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please, give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. Oh. With the whip? Oh boy. All right. Further details. What have we? When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mystic Ami was stabbing Miss Elise through the back. That's really weird. Why would she pull the sword out and then blood be everywhere and then put the sword back in, potentially moving the body just so that Ami was holding it? That's really weird. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. No, it doesn't. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska Von Karma. That is a big, big change in your character. Hell yeah. And I'm here to teach you just that. All right. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. What do you mean by that? Hold on. Do you mean the sword was already, like, in her back? Like, being held by Ami? Because that directly conflicts with that. Yeah. Hold on. This is a really, like, super vague testimony, like, more than usual. At what time was the victim bleeding? Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all this, of course, so I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood, not then. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed? No, you didn't. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. Think carefully. This is very important. It's Iris we are talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No. When I looked over, the sword was already in Mystic Elise's body. It might not be conclusive, but... This testimony supports her theory. The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth. Okay. So you just saw the body drop? Or you didn't even see the body drop. You just saw the body with the sword. And you're just assuming it was Iris then? Well, I must be misunderstanding something because it has the suspect's fingerprints on it. Okay. Well, I am... We're talking about the crime, so we need things that were related to the crime scene, right? But... if it was acting like a plug, then why is there so much blood here? There's something really weird about it, but I can't pinpoint it. Like, it doesn't make any sense that Ami was holding the sword, and also... It's so weird. I've never seen so much blood before. So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? That's right! Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. That's new information. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well. That seems quite conclusive to me. That, more than anything, that makes me believe that she pulled the sword out, for sure. Like, definitely Iris really did. What should I do? Press this point further? Yeah. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now, you say you saw the victim bleeding. Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. What did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her. Okay, yep, plain as day. Pulling the sword out? Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out. What happened here? That doesn't help. Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony. Oh, was that important? Yes! More important than you can imagine. Alright. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. Hilt? What? The instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt. Well, okay, we've got several things wrong here. Number one, if it was taken out, why is it in her body in the crime photo? Number two, it was most definitely not plunged into the hilt. So, I'm not sure if I need to present the Shichi-Shido or the crime photo, but this is wrong. Okay, it's not the crime photo, but you can clearly see... I was only testing you just now. Why don't you try testing this penalty, too? Okay. Was smoothly drawn out. You couldn't even smoothly draw it out either with the way it's shaped. No way. No way. Okay, I just presented the wrong thing, even though the picture shows that it's not plunged into the hilt. Whatever, it's fine. Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here. What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. Hell yeah, same page. What do you mean? Please, explain Explain yourself. To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble. I, too, may appear to be weak and frail. But I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, should I so choose. I bet you can. The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit. That isn't the only issue here. If the sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. That's... We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding. Okay, so either she didn't die from a stab wound, or she was stabbed with a different sword entirely. But that's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with the Shichishido. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. That's so shaky. What meaningless dribble, you foolishly foolish fool. I'm not finished. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. You've still got one more. This one is simple. If the sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword.
No!
Gotcha. Order! Wah!
Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that.
But what does this all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can only be one answer.
And that is...
the weapon used to kill the victim was not the Shichishido.
Something I want to point out is that I really, really like how the pacing and the tone and, like, the way evidence is presented and how many contradictions and how smooth it goes. I really appreciate how all of those things are changed with Edgeworth being the defense attorney here. Like, it's not just like, oh, it's the exact same stuff, but Edgeworth is in Phoenix's shoes. No, he's actually handling this differently. And that's really, really, really good writing. I like that a lot.
What?
A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy, foolish fool.
Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon?
Well, it's because Mystic Ami was holding it.
Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis which we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shichishido was the murder weapon. True. Order!
Wah! So maybe the Shichishido was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with the sword-like object. So, your argument is that it's true that she may not have been stabbed with the Shichishido, but she saw it, so it must be true. Is that really what you're arguing, Francisca?
That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes. Namely, why? Where did the real murder weapon disappear to?
There's that too, but also, why would she get stabbed a second time with the Shichishido?
It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall in the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found.
That's...
Answer the question, Miss Von Karma.
No evidence of that kind was found.
Alright. Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast.
Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. Okay, tell us. What is it, sister? I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was, it was just over there.
What exactly are you going on about here?
The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. Okay.
You what?
Well then. I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister.
Impossible. What else? What else could this old woman have seen?
And forgotten. She's not even that old. I saw the murder at around 11 o'clock p.m. 10 to 11. I guess around 11 could be like 10:55, I guess. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. Okay. Yeah. You passed out, and then you asked Phoenix to call the police. And there, I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. Okay. It takes us 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 on using one of those. Okay. So that would also explain why the bridge was burned. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. I guess. Okay.
Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time.
Well, I'm not in the best of shape. What with my back and my age, you know. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here's a photograph. Okay.
A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory.
All right. But there are also footprints leading straight out. It's weird because it looks like the snowmobile was just driven back. But yeah, this isn't conclusive evidence because there are just straight up footprints leading out too. So the tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. Okay. What about the footprints though? That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon.
Did she really go into the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please.
All right. I saw the murder at around 11 o'clock p.m. We'll just press everything just to be sure. It's got to do with the tracks, but
you are sure about the time?
Yes, I was worried about it after all.
Why was that?
Because I have a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year. I don't know why I find this winter gag funny, because it's not, but it just comes up at like every goddamn opportunity, and I find that funny. The Acolyte was being doused in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night, now could I? So at 11, I decided to leave Hazakura Temple.
Her estimation of the time seems reliable, at least.
Please continue, sister. Okay. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate.
You asked Phoenix Wright to report the crime, correct?
Right. The one who trampled me.
It seems she is the type to hold a grudge.
Yeah. There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge. Phoenix Wright. He didn't even have his cell phone on him.
He had forgotten it at home, apparently.
What a naive boy, as always. Not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand, too. I just realized, I'm sorry, this is kind of off topic, but I just realized that she has to give the Phoenix shell drawing to him. I just remembered. Oh no, please. Anyway, I was really scared, and it was taking him a while to get back. So I thought I'd go out by the main gate for a spell.
Okay.
And there, I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used.
As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited.
That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls.
Now, you're certain that the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived?
Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate. So, she had already gone, discarded the murder weapon, and returned by that time. I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? It's gotta be. It's the only lead we have. I need answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question. Was it still warm at that time? Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, eh? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? I'm playing to a slow crowd here. It goes without saying that using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used. Ah, I see. I never thought of that. That's right. I overlooked that too. Of course you did. Then answer the question, please, witness. I don't often go around touching hot engines. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Why would you have been like, oh, a murder happened. Here, let me check the fucking engine, see if it's hot. Yeah. However, now that you mention it, please, there wasn't any snow on it. Aha! Snow? Yes, for some reason, only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow. There wasn't any snow on it. Curses. It seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile then, eh? Okay. I don't know why I aha'd. I assumed literally the exact opposite. I was thinking, like, if there wasn't snow on it, then it wasn't used in the snow because snow didn't get kicked up onto the snowmobile. I'm dumb. Obviously, they mean that the snow was shaken off because it was used. Sorry. Dumb Wiggly moment. How long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile? Alright, well, it takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Alright. Well, looking at the tracks, here they are. It's weird because it looks like they went in reverse the whole way. But it's got to be something with the footprints. Those are too blatantly put there. So, let's check. In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking. Ah, there's a reason for that. Have we got a moment for me to explain? I think that's why the question was asked in the first place. It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. I'd fetched some water and was heading back, and I went and crashed into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch, just like that. Oh, lore. Crunch. Crunch. I haven't been able to find the courage to ride anything since then. Anyway, the killer must have used it. Okay. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Okay. Refresh our memory. How long were you knocked out for? Like I said, somewhere between 10 to 20 minutes. Yeah, I mean, if it takes only 5 minutes, then sure. That's a theory. It's possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile. I have to concede that this is more than enough time. Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth? Yes. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. While it would have been possible time-wise, one element remains out of place here. Oh, and what would this mystery element be? The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why did the killer do all this? Why go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon when there are other methods? Too many unanswered questions. Your response, Miss Von Karma. Wah! Turning to me for help over the slightest thing. It's your job. Why don't you think for yourself once in a while, Your Honor? What? She is as over the top as always. Anyway, whatever the reason, the fact remains that the defendant could have done this. The murder weapon was disposed of in the river. Another point to me, Miles Edgeworth. Another mystery to feed the fire. Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Luckily, there's surely a problem with this testimony. Now all I have to do is start poking holes in this flawed account. Okay. Well, there's no... There's no tracks of blood that we know about. So... I guess... Huh. That doesn't really disprove anything, though. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that there wasn't enough blood to drip off the sword, but it doesn't even look like the sword was, like, carried away unless it was cleaned off. But then you'd have, like, a cleaning, like a rag to dispose of. I feel like I'm thinking too hard about this. It's gotta be something to do with the tracks, right? Main gate. There I saw the tracks. Less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. I mean, okay, so... Disregarding the footprints, there's only one track. And unless they drove painstakingly on the same exact path, or the game design has like a mega weird oversight, that has to be it, right? It would leave 2 sets of tracks, right? Okay. I was overthinking that so hard. I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only 1 set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be 2 sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge, and those from coming back. Yup. Ah, you're right. You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall in 5 minutes. This removes your precious contradiction now, doesn't it? I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. In 5 minutes? What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? This idea that the snowfall covered 1 side of the tracks? Yeah. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all of the talking for me. I love the amount of smugness in this courtroom. It is too much to handle. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge. In order to dispose of the murder weapon, the outgoing tracks were erased by snow. Or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Present that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. Okay. Well, we're talking about the weather. So... 1050. Okay, there we are. Okay. So, if... Let me think this through real quick. Bikini said that she saw that happen at, like, 11-ish. And she said that she passed out and, like, for 10 minutes, she said. And if she went out to the bridge and then back, then that would not be enough time. Yeah, okay. I worded it really poorly, but it makes perfect sense. Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11. Yep, there we go. Of course, this means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report? Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Ah! Gotcha. Oh, order! Very well, then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. Please stop. Don't do that. Ah! It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. She took it so literal. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. What? Answer me this, then. When is a weather report ever correct? This sucks, Von Karma. Come on. Ah, no. You've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast. This is actual data. Yeah. Forecast data. All weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. That's such speculation. Stop it. It's true. We cannot be totally sure, eh? What? How does she pull that off? That's a Phoenix move, is what that is. It had stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Very well. I, too, cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. Ha! You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Hold on. Wait, no, that's not what I want. I want the crime photo. There's no snow on her back. Is that good enough? Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. Gotcha. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception. And that is the victim herself, Miss Elise O'Neill. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It stopped snowing when she was killed. That's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph, there should be two sets of tracks. Ah! Order! Just what are you... Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I am not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all of the facts point to. I'm not really suggesting anything, I'm just disproving your point. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple, and I think I know who. It's pretty obvious, actually. But they didn't come back. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained. Yes, I know exactly who did it. Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There is only one key for the snowmobile. Okay. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder. Okay. Which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. Alright. The snowmobile can't cross a suspension bridge. So, she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. No, not necessarily. That sounds right. But, what's odd is when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean, and it was covered in snow. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too. Yeah, okay. Then I know it. I know exactly who did it and where it went. This is easy.
But that isn't possible.
Order! Order! Order in the court! What does this all mean?
Ugh. So then, what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness.
Yes, I've nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know.
But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. Let's drag it out of him, baby. A witness, huh?
Was there no one out, walking perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that.
and an idiot it did.
Unless they had something really important to do.
That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me.
Yep.
An idiot may well have gone out wandering out on that subarctic night. Your Honor, actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us.
Really? You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder?
I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are 2 things about him that do come to mind. Which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder.
And the second being...
This individual that I am thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he's our kind of idiot.
Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about?
It is Larry Butts, better known as, well, worse known as, Larice Donine. This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc de Laduc's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting.
Alright, I don't know what that is.
This is Larry Butts, a disciple of the victim, Elise Donine. Her student? Interesting. And why was he wandering about outside on the night of the murder? It's stupid, man. I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist.
True. He did make thinker clocks. Yep, he did.
He was perhaps searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him, although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason.
And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw?
I intend to extract that from him right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately.
I have no choice, do I?
I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry. You may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. You Harlequin. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness.
Understood, Your Honor.
Good. Well then, court is now in recess.
Whew. That was pretty simple, all things considered. There wasn't anything super crazy yet. That wasn't that hard to figure out. I'm kind of surprised that this case is coming to me so well. I'm loving Francisca back. I'm loving the way things are going in the courtroom with Edgeworth, and I love the banter between the two. Canadian judge is surprisingly a little less dumb than he was in Memories, or at least a little bit less annoying about it, I think. But yeah, I'm having a great time in the trials so far. Well, anyway, thank you all
for watching this episode of Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations Blind. I've been Guildmaster Wiggly. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you want to follow my socials or join my Discord, they're in the description. And I hope to see you all next time when we take on the second half of the first trial of the 5th case of the 3rd game in the trilogy.